What's up, traders? Zach here from the Trading Network. I hope you guys are doing well. For those of you guys who are new to the channel, first and foremost, welcome. What we do in this video series is we discuss a forecast for the ES and NQ futures markets based on weekly market profile analysis. We will also go over the session profile analysis and a little bit of weekly candlestick charts as well. And by the end of this video, you guys will have great levels to keep an eye on, at the very least, for trade opportunity to base risk off of, to use as targets, and things of that nature. So without any further ado, let's dive into the charts and let's see what we have working for us for this coming week. All right, friends. So first and foremost, let's start off with a little bit of NQ session profile. What I'm going to be looking at here, or one thing that I want to point out before I dive into deep, is that we are operating between two naked point of controls. We have a naked point of control up here at 15,367. That's the POC from July 5th. And we have a naked POC down here at 15,084, which is the POC from June 29th. Now, these are the point of controls from the regular trading hour sessions. And for those of you guys who are less familiar with the profile, a point of control is a specific level in any given session where the most transactions or price action took place. So this is where the most business took place. And I do want to just point out that there is a difference between the point of control on the volume side of the profile versus the point of control on the TPO side of the profile, where we have the letters here, right? So technically, if you want to keep it very simple, this is where the most time was spent in the session. 15,258, 15,224, 15,367, that's where this naked POC is, and then 15,8475. And a naked POC, to be more specific, is a point of control that was created and has not been touched since it was created, right? So you can see that on June 29th, we traded at 15,084, and that was the point of control for that particular session. Now, we have never come back down since that POC was established and touched that 15,084 level. And that's why that is a naked POC and why it is extended to the end of the chart. And the same goes for this upside naked POC as well. From July 5th at 15,367.50. So that's just a little bit of profile information for you guys, aside from the analysis that I'm going to do, as I always feel like it's helpful, especially for those of you guys who are, finding these videos or finding my channel in hopes to learn more about the profile. I want to drop some gems for you guys, and I hope that they help. So with that said, what I'm going to be looking for is, you see that little fat finger action there? I hit my sell stop hotkey. So what I'm going to be looking at moving forward into this week is the reaction to Friday's profile. And you can see we're trading right at Friday's lows at 15,172. So break and hold below 172, I think very likely gets us a move down to Thursday's value area low at 149. If that breaks, I'll be looking for a move to 15,111. And, if we get to 15,111, I do think it's very likely we test this 1584. Of course, we got a couple levels you can target or take trades towards or base risk off of, potentially between 111 and 84, but that's only 30 points. So, if we do get downside pressure, I think it's very likely we tap this naked POC, but we need to take things one level at a time always. Now, if buyers step in, first and foremost, we're going to need to basically test these stacked point of controls here, which is the point of control from Thursday's regular trading hour session. And it's basically at the same level that the overnight point of control from Thursday into Friday was. So that tells us that this is a very, very important level. If we move and hold above this, very likely we're going to get a move to Thursday's high, which is also very close to Thursday's value area high, call it 15,250-ish. And of course, break and hold with acceptance above 15,250 very likely gets us a move into Friday's value high, 288. And then these higher levels here, 288 is also the overnight point of control from the 5th into 6th, so that's a very important level. I would imagine that there's a lot of liquidity above here, so if we can push above 288, very likely move into 314. Push above 314, very likely gets us a move to Friday's high. You can see there are a ton of profile levels up here that are going to be very, very important. And then once again, if we do move through this area, touch this naked POC, very likely, we're moving into these prior levels. That would be 392, the overnight high from July 2nd to 3rd. 390 is also the regular trading hours high from July 3rd. And then we have 432 which is the high from July 5th. So those are the levels that I'm going to be looking at from a session profile perspective on NQ. I think those will be very, very helpful for you guys to, at the least, mark up and watch and see what happens there. You know, you can gain a lot of insight and you can recognize a lot of patterns if you simply just mark off these market profile levels and watch what price does when it gets close to them. Okay, so now it is time to move into the NQ weekly profile. You can see that we are quite balanced right now. These are the profiles for the last 4 weeks of price action based on regular trading hours price data, right? So we are below value from last week. We are at the top of value from the prior week. We're in the middle of the value area from the week of June 19th and close to the middle of the value area from the week of June 12th. So very, very balanced. That means that the market or the other time frame players, the large time frame players, are viewing this particular price or this particular area as a fair price for this particular instrument. Now, it's going to be very important, once again, to see what happens this week, because we do have a naked POC from not last week, but the prior week at 15.1K, basically, which is right below last week's low. And we have the session naked POC over here at 1584, right? So that's going to be very important to see if we can test that. We're not too far away. So, you know, buyers are going to have to be pretty strong, I would say, for us not to test that. But that's really just, you know, speculation on my end. Take it with a grain of salt. My opinion doesn't matter when it comes down to it. We got to just watch and wait and see what happens, what the market tells us to do. So, you know, to keep it simple from a weekly perspective, look at last week's low. Look at this little zone right here, you know, between last week's low and that POC at 103. And then make note that we have another naked POC, like, you know, 20 points below that from a session profile perspective. And then, you know, on the upside, if buyers do step in, I'll be looking for moves on a weekly perspective to 15,183, 15,206, 244, 275, 310, and then likely back up into this area where we have the high from the weekly profile of June 26th. Also the POC from last week at 15,356. You can see we've got a POC or the POC from the monthly volume profile right here, right around 344. So this is a very important area if we can get up there. But if we get selling pressure, I mean, there's some weaker structure in this area that we could definitely see some lower prices if sellers step in. So just stay flexible and, you know, understand that anything can happen. And once again, I'm going to always remind you guys, as it is a reminder to myself, that we must watch and wait for the market to tell us what to do. We can't be imposing our views or our opinions on the market. We have to just wait for our setups and capitalize on them when they present themselves. So with that in mind, let's pop on over to the ES session profile. Very, very similar vibes per usual. And I'm going to be looking at the reaction towards, you know, this 4430 level. If we break 4430, do we have a naked POC on ES? We do, but it's way down here at 4361. So comparatively, we are way closer to the naked POC on NQ, but we are between two naked POCs on ES. They are just a bit different as far as space. And this is what I mean, right? We are, let me just get the ruler tool here. We're like 80 points away on NQ. And obviously the point difference, hold on, let me do this. Let me make this a bit more clear. So instead of price, let's do percent. So we're 0.58% away from the naked POC to the downside on NQ. And on ES, we are, change this to percent, we are 1.64%. So that is what I'm getting at. It is a much larger move, 3 times the size, basically, I believe. What was it? Yeah, 3 times the size, essentially, to get down to this naked POC on ES. So just keep that in mind. We do have one down here, but we're much further away. We're actually closer to the upside POC when it comes to ES. So I'll be watching reaction, and if this 4430 level breaks, first and foremost, I'll be looking for a move into Thursday's low, 4420, and then very likely 4410, 4400, and then there's a big grouping of levels here between basically like 4387 and 4375. So I think this is an important area to look for price to move towards. And if, of course, we get down here, significantly higher probability that we tap this naked POC. But I'm just giving you guys levels to keep an eye out for. Once again, just mark them off, you know, especially if you're not familiar with the profile, if you want to build confidence, if you want to understand how simple you can really keep the profile. You don't have to use the, you know, the profile open types and the gap strategies. I mean, you can. They're awesome, that's for sure. But if you want to keep it really simple, especially just starting out to build confidence, simply just mark off the levels and watch and see what happens at these levels. So ES weekly profile, very, very similar, very balanced. We are, just basically on ES, we're within value from last week, the week before. We're just above value from the week of June 19th, and we're also in value from the week of June 12th. So once again, just being patient is going to be very important because we are extremely balanced, both on a session and weekly profile perspective, which means that we are ranging until something changes. So keep that in mind. Don't go looking for, this is just a suggestion. Try not to get trapped in a, something that looks like a trend if you are not sure that we are trending. And it's going to be very important to stay patient and see if we can get some directional conviction moving forward into this week. Once again, my guess is that we will, because last week was very, very balanced and, it was a short week with not a lot of volume, but, we got to wait and see. So on the upside, if we get 44.20 to hold last week's low, look for a move to 44.44. Great confluence there between the last week's POC and the prior week's value area high. And just above that is the prior week from June 19th, the actual weekly high there. So if we push above 44.50, I'll look for a little bit larger of a move, 44.70-ish, 44.84, and then 44.94. And once again, last week's value area high is the prior week's high. So great confluence there. And then last week's high, 44.94, is also the high from the week of June 12th, right? Very important levels. And it is very clear that we are just in a big old range, essentially. And we got to stay patient and see which side the range breaks to. So with that said, let's hop on into the weekly candlestick chart for a few, and I will wrap things up. Okay, so here we have the weekly profile on NQ. These red levels are some levels that I marked off in my prior weekly market profile forecast. And, things haven't really changed very much since my last video. I skipped last week because it was a short week. But what I'm looking at is basically, this is not going to come as a surprise, is the reaction to, our prior weekly candle, right? Closure below the low of this candle very likely gets us further downside, perhaps to test the low of this weekly bar here. And the oscillators on the weekly, they are starting to curl and cross to the downside. I'm referring to these stochastics up here. These are the Z cubed, part of our proprietary indicator package. But, we could just continue ranging because this is essentially the range that we've been in. You can see, one sec, let me get rid of these arrows. Okay, so one thing that I just wanted to point out right here is that this is kind of a support resistance flip, like on a weekly basis. You can see that the high of this candle, this wick, then came down and tested that right here, boom, right there, boom. So that's something to keep an eye on. I would look for that area to get tested if we do get further downside. That's 14, let's see, low of that bar is 14,853 technically. So, I'm not getting bearish by any means because we've been making higher highs and higher lows for quite some time. But I will say that if this is going to be a continued macro uptrend and we're going to break, these levels and these levels and these levels and make new all-time highs, we're probably going to get some pullbacks, right? So, just for perspective, we could come all the way back to like 13.5-ish and be quite bullish and then, continue from there. So I think that's a good possibility. But we could also, just push through these highs right here, test these highs from April 2022 around like 15.8K, something like that, and continue on our way, up to like this next level here. So anything can happen. We just got to stay patient. That's what I always like to say. But this is good. We're in an uptrend. We're making higher highs and higher lows. We broke out of the yearly downtrend line. We've been broken out of that since, February, essentially, and we're just holding that. So as long as we really, we could hold this line, as long as we hold that line even, in my opinion, we're looking pretty solid. I could kind of adjust this to the bodies. I like to draw my trend lines on the bodies, and I don't make sure that they're perfect because price isn't perfect, but I want them lining up along the bodies to get an idea. And you can see the confluence here. Look at this horizontal line that I have right here, marked off this swing high right here. It's also this swing low. And it's now the bottom of the opportunity zone, and it's intersecting with this probe or this diagonal trend line. So that's a lot of confluence. Once again, I'm not saying or trying to make a prediction that price is going to come all the way back here, but if it does, I will still be bullish, and I will be looking to buy there for like my long-term, trades and things of that nature for what it's worth. Not financial advice, but it's the weekly op zone, And look how the weekly op zone works when we're in an uptrend. Pretty beautiful. So just things to consider, right? So I do not want to take up too much more of your guys' time. I know that it is very valuable and I appreciate it very much. I'll basically just draw the same thing, show you guys here. We got this trend line to the upside. This probe has been broken to the upside. Oscillators really haven't curled and crossed yet on ES, but same thing, really just watching the reaction, see if we close below last week's low, or if we can keep pushing and break these highs from the prior few weeks, or if we just continue to range, right? That is an absolute possibility. So we got to stay patient. We got to see if one of these sides breaks. I'll really, this is a solid range to trade, especially if you guys are like longer time frame traders. 150 point range, weekly range on ES. A lot of opportunity there. So with that said, just stay patient. As always, wait for price to come to you. Wait for your setups to present themselves. Do not force your view on the market. Do not force my view on the market. I have no idea what's going to happen. These are just, my opinions. These are my analysis or my thoughts based on my experience. So with that said, guys, I want to thank you very much, as always, for taking the time to watch this content. If you do enjoy this content and you find value in it, I would greatly appreciate it if you would like, subscribe, and click that bell notification to be notified every single time we post videos here on the channel. And if you would like to learn more about what we do here at the Trading Network, check out our website, thetradingnetwork.io, where you can purchase access to our most popular offering, the TTN Pro Trader Bundle, which includes lifetime access to our private Discord, where you watch me and Alex trade every single day, Monday through Friday, starting at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time. It also includes access to our Fundamentals of Futures Trading course, where we teach the very strategies that Alex and I are trading on live stream every single day. Last but not least, the bundle includes access to the proprietary indicator package, which includes all of our custom created indicators that coincide with the strategies that we trade. Now, if you guys are interested in a more catered one-on-one experience to your strengths and weaknesses as a trader, I also offer one-on-one mentorship, which you can learn more about on our website. You can also book a free 15-minute consultation with me to find out if one-on-one mentorship is a good fit for you. And if you guys have any questions about anything that I have mentioned in this video, please do not hesitate to email us at info@thetradingnetwork.io, or you can shoot us a message on Instagram, the.trading.network, and we will get back to you as soon as possible. Now, one final thing that I want to let you guys know about is that the Pro Trader Bundle is on sale for another 30 hours or so. We are having an extended 4th of July sale where you can now use the code HAPPY4TH in all caps to get 15% off the Pro Trader Bundle. Once again, that is lifetime access to our Discord, all of our Fundamentals of Futures Trading course content, which includes the strategies that we trade, and our proprietary indicator package for 15% off. We are now also offering a firm payment plan so you guys can pay in as small increments as 4 monthly payments as well if you want to break it up and make it easier on the wallet. So if you guys have any questions, don't hesitate to hit us up at info@thetradingnetwork.io or shoot us a DM on Instagram at the.trading.network, and we will get back to you ASAP and help any way we can. Thank you guys as always. I appreciate you very much, and I will talk to you soon. Much love.